This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe classified retro card back Courtney Covergirl Krieger figure. This is another WTF with the artwork that they used, once again looking like they just had an AI put it together instead of a real artist, and it, not as bad as the one on Flint, by the way. I'm just going to throw that one out there. Not as bad as the one on Flint, but I don't know what they were thinking. But hey, at least the AI gave her cleavage and boobs, which probably didn't happen with the figure itself. But as you can see, she comes with a whole lot of stuff, which is great to see. Including a full second head. On the back, we see Covergirl, Krieger, Courtney A. Role: Armored Fighting Vehicle Driver. Primary specialty: Armorer. Secondary specialty: AFV Mechanics. Birthplace: Peoria, Illinois. Covergirl was a high fashion model before growing disillusioned and enlisting to put a new direction in her life. Her phenomenal mechanical repair and driving skills reduced most people to stuttering fools, even more so than her stunning good looks. Let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? So before I get too far into this, I just want to say I am super hoping that I am not going to be as disappointed in this as I was in the Super 7 O-ring version of this Covergirl that they did. Because this is one of those figures I was really looking at. And don't forget, as Covergirl says about me,
you're my kind of wolf.
So hopefully this will all go good. I'm also kind of hoping that, like, while they did give us 2 head sculpts, which is what I want, I'm hoping also that we can swap out the heads too. Let's find that out real quick. Yes! The hair does come off. That means we have 4 different display options with her head and her hair. Huh. The Pitts Garage. Oh, the Pitts Garage, because that's what G.I. Joe's headquarters is called. So, Courtney here comes with an animation style rifle in... looks like a really dark olive green color, silver, and black. It looks cool. She also comes with a sledgehammer, a normal looking sledgehammer and not like Road Pig stuff. This is cool too, I like it. She comes with a pistol of some sort. I do not know what make this would be. If you do know, please comment below. And that we can go ahead and just slide right into her holster, which is a weird design. What figure was it I looked... oh, Cobra Commander, actually. The Battle Armor Cobra Commander with his goofy-ass holster for his pistol. This is better than that one was, that's for sure, even though it looks weird. Whoopsie, and there her hair came off. She also comes with a wrench, just a repaint of the one that she came with in her first toy. And we have a little place on the belt loop we can put that. Also, before we get too far, there's something else I wanted to check. So one of my pet peeves with a lot of the G.I. Joe figures has been that the neck holes are not the same size on the different figures, which limits the amount of customization you can kind of do. But I want to see if... so you can actually put Covergirl's head on a Valkyrie body, though that hair does not look quite right for it. Or I should say the hat for sure. It's kind of too bad we don't have a ponytailed head without the hat. But yeah, this could allow us to actually customize our Cobra Valkyries a little more. A quick note, if you do remove the hair from the head, you can fit the helmet on the Courtney head really well. And there you go. You have a nice custom version of the Cobra Valkyrie. This one unmasked. Now that being said, one of the things I have wanted to do with these figures before, and I think maybe Hasbro should just go ahead and do this themselves, because we've seen a couple of the girls and guys go undercover in G.I. Joe. Flint, for example, and I believe Scarlet and Lady J were both dressed as Cobra troopers. So I'd like to see versions of them put out as well. But until then, here we have a nice unmasked Cobra Valkyrie with Covergirl's head. All right, so we got that part done. Let's take a look at our first head sculpt with her smiling face. Remember, she was a model. It's actually a pretty good head sculpt. You know, the smile looks pretty nicely done. Sometimes when they do smiles, it looks kind of off-putting. I'm surprised, though, that they did not give her a brighter shade of lipstick. No, actually, no, I'm not really surprised because Hasbro doesn't like to do that with their G.I. Joe figures. Oh no, that'll be too feminine for our G.I. Joe characters. We don't want them to look too feminine. Oh my god, they're not going to wear makeup, are they? So, I'm going to admit, I do not know what a lot of the military regulations on makeup actually is. But I did have more than one friend who was in the military, female, who said that they were actually allowed to wear makeup. And I think actually the lipstick color, they could get away with the brighter stuff. At least the one was. So I just wanted to point that out. So there really doesn't seem to be any reason not to like have given her a nice red shade or, you know, something instead of this trying to go for a darker lip color. Especially with the smile, you know. Our other head sculpt here is her more neutral portrait. Again, same color lips. Would have been nice if they'd gone for a little bit brighter color. That is something that they did in the cartoons more often, was brighter colors. And of course, as mentioned before, we can swap out the heads and the hair. Probably easier to get the hair off when you take the head off, or have that head on the body. So here you would have a more neutral portrait with the long hair. And we have the smiling head with the cap. I both like and dislike this hair. Like, I think it's cute with the hat the way it is, but I will say this. I kind of would have liked to have had this long braided hair without the hat also. So that would have been a nice add-on with her. And I suspect that this is probably going to be... This hair is probably the one most people are going to display with their figure. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at her articulation. The hair keeps on popping off. That doesn't sound very well. So we already know the head's on a ball joint from all the popping we did. We can kind of look down and side to side a bit. The hair obviously interferes. Probably not so much with the ponytail, but it'll still interfere. Her jacket here is a separate piece from her torso, which does appear to be the exact same torso they used on the first release of... In fact, yeah, the bottom here and this both look to me like they are, in fact, the same as the original Covergirl that was released in this line. The neck does have like the little chicken neck thing going, so there's a bit of a hinge down there at the bottom of the neck. The arm has a butterfly joint, a little in and out action. We can spin, we can raise, and we can also spin the bicep. Double joint at the elbow again, which is always nice. Spin at the wrist, up and down on that one. Spin at the wrist here, in and out on that one. It's interesting too because both of the hands themselves are actually trigger hands. We have the boob cut, so we can wiggle all around up at the top. And we have a waist cut, so we can spin and wiggle as well. Her belt, her tool belt or her gun belt there does shift quite a bit. We have drop down hips. We can kick out that far on that directions and that far forward. And only about that far back because her butt's in the way. And there goes the hair again. We have a thigh cut, and it's not popping off like another figure we recently looked at. Double joint at the knee. Spin at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, and a spin down there as well. Covergirl here is getting ready to bash some Cobras with her sledgehammer. I really do like this accessory. I think this is probably going to be what I display her with. I just haven't decided on the head and the hair yet, though. That being said, let's take a quick look to compare her to the first release of Covergirl. I'm just checking. She actually has a different... I'm surprised, actually. She does have a different crotch piece. But this is what I was saying before, where the shirt and the top of the shirt are both different. Are the same. Her abs and her boobs. It's reusing the same pieces from our original Covergirl. But it looks like everything else on her is new from that original version, except for the feet themselves, which look like same feet. The calves are different, however. And of course, this Covergirl came with a shotgun instead of a rifle. So what's interesting to note too with this figure is that not only are her heads both different sculpts obviously, she's got different eye colors in both. It looks like to me her eyes are kind of blue with the blonde hair, at least on that head. And the original version of her looks like she has brown eyes. So here's the question too though, is her hair blonde or was it red before? Like which is the dyed version, which is the real? You could almost say that it's quite possible that our blonde version here may be both dyed and wearing colored contacts compared to her later release. It's kind of weird to say it that way because our blonde Courtney was the first version we saw in the cartoon series, and then her actual official figure release ended up being the redheaded version, which again, the hair on the first release figure is kind of darker than it probably should be. But I guess I didn't want people to confuse her for Scarlet, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not actually disappointed in this figure. She looks pretty good. I mean, it would have been nice if they'd sculpted her with a more model-like figure. I'm just going to put it that way. Since, you know, she was a model, and especially in the 80s, she would have had a much more different figure than what she does there. Like about 2 cup sizes. But I like her. I love that sledgehammer accessory. I really do. I think that's great. I don't know which head I'm going to use for her display. I will probably be using that hair though. But yeah, unlike the Super 7 version, this one didn't disappoint me. I would say if you want to get her, you should go ahead and pick her up. The artwork is still kind of an issue. Again, it looks to me like they just AI generated it, which is an issue, I think. But why don't you guys let me know what you think in the comments below? Do you like this figure? Which is your favorite head sculpt? The smiling one or the more neutral portrait? And do you like the ponytail with the hat or the long loose hair yourself? And if you enjoyed my look at Courtney Covergirl Krieger, please smash that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense, you can subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.